Last day in the United States, guys. I'm gonna be back. Who knows when? But this is the final day in the US of this year. Gonna head over to Southeast Asia and start a new chapter, you know. I believe that you are an author. Every single one of you guys is an author of your book of life. And I want you guys to write interesting stories. A lot of people have pre-written stories from their parents, their families, their schools, their environment, right? Their religions. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with following the normal path. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I always, believe that if whatever you're doing works for you, if you're thriving, when it comes to your work, your eating, your habits, then there's nothing wrong with it. Don't change anything. But the unfortunate reality is that a lot of people don't like what they do. So, and for me, I love Vegas, man. This is I've had a good life here. So a lot of people been asking me like, why are you leaving? Like, what's the reason? I thought you love Vegas to a degree, of course. Yeah, I love Vegas. People think of the Strip and Fremont. Look at this. Beautiful neighborhoods, right? But there are also lots of cons about Vegas. And Vegas is great, but guess what? I found something that's 10 times better. For me, personally for me, right? I'm also very biased because I am from Indonesia. My opinions might be a little skewed when it comes to Indonesia and Southeast Asia in general. But nonetheless, I've pulled the trigger and said, yes, I will move to this place called Bali. So today marks the beginning of my journey into the east. And the flight is later tonight. So right now I'm just soaking in the sun, walking down this nice neighborhood that I will not walk again this year or any time in the near future. All the memories that I've had, man, I've walked down these streets so many times. So we're gonna go to brunch and I guess last supper before the takeoff tonight. What I want to say is, I guess the good and the bad, right? The good and the bad of the US. A lot of people in Indonesia and Southeast Asian countries, they all want to come to the States, right? Every single one of them. Man, maybe like 97.2% of them would like to come to the United States, have the opportunity, right? I've been very blessed to have this opportunity to live in one of the best countries in the world. I'm gonna show you guys the good things and the bad things of the United States. So, number one, the good thing about America is that you can get into debt easy. What does that mean? Well, how's that good then? Well, in America, you can get credit cards easier. You can get loans easier. I don't think you can put down 3% in a Southeast Asian country and just get a house. I don't think so. But here we have options. At least we have the avenues, the lanes to build our wealth. That is one of the biggest things about the United States, is that we can actually build, a tremendous amount of wealth and the opportunities for work as well. The money here is, I would say, better. With that being said, inflation and all that has caught up. And so now it's much harder to, just have one income and afford a house, for example, afford one of these. It's not going to be as easy, But there's, at least in here we have SBA loans. At least we can apply for credit cards easier and get mortgage much easier than, let's say, Indonesia. Now, obviously, you got to do your due diligence, right? You got to still have a good credit score, have a good job, and work for a couple of years. I think the barrier of entry is much lower here than over there. For example, I think you would need to put down 10% or 20%. I would say the wealth building aspect in the States is much better. Number two is that education system here. I think, I don't even know, man. But yeah, I would say the education here, like at least from K to 12, is free, right? Now, a lot of people take that for granted, and when they go to school, they just use SparkNotes, like I did lots of times, and now with ChatGPT, kids are more focused on getting grades and just getting school over with, and then, just mess around after that. So education-wise, I don't know if I would say it's that much better, because to be honest, everything that I've learned in my life, speaking English, playing chess, playing the guitar, buying a house, like I educate myself lots of times outside of school. But nonetheless, the education system here is better than out there. So that's the pros. But bro, other than that, what can I'm trying to think, right? This is not scripted, right guys? I'm just walking around, walking down the neighborhood. I don't know if I can think of anything else that I would say is better here besides the opportunities of building wealth, which is a big, don't get me wrong, that's a big component on why people would like to come to the States, right? But this is what I call the 5 pillars of fulfillment, okay? I just kind of came up with this the other day. 5 pillars of fulfillment, right? You need to have all these 5 things checked for your body, for your soul, for your mind, for your whole being to feel good. Unfortunately, over here, the culture is, loud cars and get the biggest house possible and money, right? Cool, you get your financial pillar down, right? If you get your wealth up, that's good. It's a very good thing, because the unfortunate reality is that we need money to survive. We need money to live. We need money to get food. We need money to put food on the table. And so, your financial pillar is very important. Don't get me wrong. But however, that's the only pillar that people really care about. What about your health, right? 70% of Americans are overweight or obese. What about that? What about the obesity epidemic that we have in this nation? How can we say we are the best country in the world when over 70% of us are overweight, unhealthy, and not thriving? How can you say that, right? How is you have this building or this foundation upon 5 pillars, right? And it's supported by 1. Your financial is good, but what about your physical? Not good. What about your mental state? Probably not good. What about your spiritual state? Especially here in Las Vegas. I think the spiritual aspect of life is not being emphasized, you know? Las Vegas is full of just hedonistic and materialistic people, and there's, if that's what you want from your life, that's cool, that's fine. So there's the bad right there. 5 pillars of fulfillment. We're only fulfilling 1. And even then, a lot of people here are not that good financially either, And so, I would say the bad is very void of culture. America is very void of culture, void of spirituality. At least we're heading towards that direction, right? And so, including myself, guys, I'm not perfect by any means. I'm trying to become better every single day. When I wake up, I want to become a better version of myself. But people are very void of spirituality here, and we just focusing on, like I said, the financial pillar, but the mental, physical, spiritual, social pillar, they're neglected. I would say the social life is okay. I mean, I knew my friends from college, but for someone who, let's say, did not go to college here, how are they gonna make friends here, right? You have to join communities. You have to, find hobbies and things that you have to, where you can meet people, right? Just like anywhere else, but at least in Vegas, from what I've seen, it's a much harder task to get that. Because check this out, guys. Look at this. Check this out, guys. This is America right here. Amazing, right? Yeah. We are in the suburbs, one of the best neighborhoods in Las Vegas. But look at this. There's absolutely nothing. Not even one person walking, guys. Not even one person. I'm the only one. And people think I'm crazy if I'm walking at like 10:30 a.m. It's like, wow, what is he doing? He's walking around by himself? Yes. And I'll show you guys the contrast between this place and when I get to Bali. Okay, there's a big difference in lifestyle and culture and people. It's a much different place. So I would say your other pillars of your fulfillment are being tampered when you live in the States, because everyone focuses on money and writing a pre-written story in their book of life that other people tell them to write. The people, the environment, the religions, the school system, the media telling you gotta go A, B, C, D, E. You gotta go to school, get a job, retire, right? Nothing wrong with that, guys. Nothing wrong. But I am proposing an offer to you guys. I am telling you right now, you can write a much more interesting story of life than what they have pre-written for you. All right? Sorry, car. I'm just walking. You can write a much more interesting story of life based on what you want. Okay? Obviously, I want you to learn as much, as possible about life and how the world works. And once you decide, or once you find out and figure out what you want out of life, then I would say go for it. The world is so big, life is so short. Many people haven't even left their neighborhood and experienced other things. The beauty of God's creations. Like, this is cool. I guess it's cool. It's cool. It's whatever. Look at this. I'm gonna put myself in a place where I personally think I can thrive much better. And I just love the place. Like, it's just plain and simple. People ask me why. That's gonna be the next video. And reasons why I'm leaving the United States. But yes, the good and the bad in the States, the wealth building and education system, probably better than most countries. And people can probably disagree with that. I don't know. Comment down below if you disagree. But the bad is that we only focus on those things. We focus on money. We focus on materialism. We tamper our other pillars of fulfillment. Like I said, the 5 pillars are financials, mental, physical, social, spiritual. The last 4 that I said are kind of gone. It's kind of missing. The bad is that we're only focusing on materialism and we neglect our health. We prioritize making money, over health. And here, this is a question I would ask people. If I can give you $10 million USD today, but you will not wake up tomorrow, are you going to take the money? Think about that. Nah, probably not, right? You're going to be like, oh, how am I going to use the money if I'm dead tomorrow? How am I going to use the money if I cannot live? That's the point. Your health is number 1, guys. Your health, your longevity, your fulfillment spiritually, mentally, they're going to be more important than just chasing the amount. I'm proposing to you guys that you should write a more interesting story in the book of your life so that you can be more fulfilled. That's the bottom line. So, am I telling you to move across the world like I am? No, you don't have to. Don't quit your job and just run to a different place with a couple $1,000s and just hopefully you can make it, because that's exactly what I'm doing. So that's a big risk to take, I'm not telling you to do that, but just live life for the better. Become more fulfilled. Flights tonight, we're going to Bali, and so I'm gonna take you guys on a journey to the other side of the world. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow. Wait, subscribe and follow. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, all that jazz. Next video is coming up soon. Peace, guys.